I got a lot of Q&A for you guys. We're gonna get in dirty and deep on Ghost today. Got a lot of good questions.
Ryan's mom likes it.
Ryan's mom.
Had to sneak it in there.
All right.
Yeah, you know why? Because we did the Anaka Power podcast, and we
He
left
didn't
the
talk about my
podcast,
mom.
and Ryan goes, "You didn't mention my mom once." So I had to make sure that today on your visit, I got one Highland.
Nice.
All right. I'm coming in hot on the first question.
Here we
right?
go.
Oh boy.
I was the first to leak this, kind of, because the athlete actually said it first. Christian Guzman collab this summer, we're told by Christian on his story. What kind of details can you guys give us?
First
That,
off,
according to Christian Guzman, there's a collab coming this summer.
This is gonna be what?
More or
V5?
less than last year?
More what?
More or less than last year?
More or less.
According to
for
Christian
More
Guzman.
stuff.
Number.
You get
There, was
three
more,
stocks.
there were 3
Yeah.
SKUs, but also the dosages are always kind of what you guys play with. With CG is usually the hardcore, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We just got back from Houston. Always a good time seeing Max and Christian and a couple of other athletes down there, and said to the Naka pod with those boys. So big things in the works with Max tuning, dialed in a concept for him this year, and with Christian in true Christian fashion, I think we dialed in no less than like 12 different concepts with him. So as far as what we want to like kind of roll out and when, just stay tuned.
Cool. Sleep.
Love sleep.
You guys have been mentioning a sleep supplement for a little bit now. Is that still in the works, or is that coming soon? Is that something we should be excited about?
We've been playing with a lot of different formula concepts. I think initially one big philosophical question we had to answer right for ourselves is to melatonin or not to melatonin. Because I know that there are some people who are very loyal and love that ingredient, some people who are quite the opposite. But I think where we landed is to do a sleep product, you have to include melatonin for the greater, I think, of the target customer for it. And we've just been playing with some other concepts. We want to really love it. I personally haven't really loved a lot of the sleep products that have been out to date. Maybe I just have a hard time sleeping, shutting the entrepreneur brain off in general. But we've got some cool things in the works.
Can I throw in my 2 cents?
Sure.
You gentlemen enjoy a hoppy drink once in a while, right? Mm-hmm. Well, I would say throw in some hops and valerian.
Hops has definitely been part of the combo.
Yes.
Specifically, trying to see if we can get them from our partners at AB, because there's a good story there.
That's
There we
an
go.
awesome story.
Nice.
Okay, so we kind of talked about this on the podcast, but it's a good question. I think you probably will enjoy the opportunity to talk about it. Do you find brands reaching out to you for partnerships now, or do you still seek out your partnerships?
It's both. Yeah, it depends on who we're talking about. Depends on who you meet. You know, there's so many different stories or examples of like, you know, how you met somebody or how you were introduced to one group or how they came across, you know, what you're doing. So you just never really know which direction it's flowing, which is all we could ever hope for.
Yeah. So, I mean, like today we're talking about Turtles has a great story of you guys actually reaching out to them. Actually, I mean, still, even the extensions that we talk about frequently are still a lot of collabs that you guys did yourselves. So that's awesome. Okay, so this is kind of a cool one. Advice for entrepreneurs starting their own business. And I actually want to keep it to supplements. You guys were at great other jobs. You decided to leave all of that and start your own thing. 2020, obviously, hindsight. Looking back, what kind of advice would you give yourselves?
There's so much because I
6
think
years.
genuinely, like, you know, at this stage, I think we have, and we actually had a conversation, and maybe this is the advice for me, but we had a conversation recently about, you know, what we've learned, but also some of the experiences we've had with whether it's other brands, retailers, whatever, and some people we've interacted with. And one of the things that I said to Dan is what surprised me because look, my previous career, I was in a very different position, right? So just for the sake of, you know, saying, like, entering the boardroom for me was like a new experience, right? So whether it's one of our retail partners or, you know, one of our licensed partners or whatever, the whole experience was new. I didn't really know what to expect. And I think, you know, in a lot of ways, like, I wasn't the polished guy with a long resume in the corporate world. So I kind of went in there and really listened for the better part of the first, 12 to 18 months in a lot of those meetings, and kind of figured out exactly what my role is going to be. But the genesis was never stop learning. And I think what we talked about recently was it surprised us how many people you meet, that's just not even, an interest of theirs anymore, right? They literally hit a certain stage, whether it's in their life, their career, whatever, they turn it off, right? They stop learning and they're complacent. And I think the cool part about what we've done is like, we don't know it all. And every day we approach every opportunity we have, every meeting with obviously what can we bring to the table and what value can we add, but what can we take away as well. So never stop learning for me, because we've been learning endlessly for the last 6 years.
Yeah, totally. I think the only thing I would add to that, a little different, I guess my advice would just, especially in this industry, but really in all industries, and just today's world, Instagram, social media culture, really easy to compare, right? Yourself to other brands, to other products, want to look like them, follow their path, or some combination of all of those things. I think the part of our story with Ghost that hopefully can motivate or inspire someone is like, look, like we were so obsessed with the idea of like how we wanted to build Ghost and how it was going to be different and why it was missing from the world that we quit our jobs to do it. And I would challenge people before you start a business, because it's hard. There's a lot, like all you can do is hope for more good days than bad days, right? More wins than else. And if you do that, you look in the rear view, you're like, holy smokes, we've actually done something cool here, right? But, it's hard a lot of days. So if you are not going into it, for the right reasons, where you think you have a really good, you can answer the idea, no emotion, right? Here's why we're different. Here's what we're doing. Here's why the market needs this, right? Instead of, I just want this slice of this, that's short-lived, right? If you can't do that, I would, suggest just keep it in the oven until you can. I think that's a really owning your why, owning your point of difference, owning your unique value proposition. There's only going to be one you, so make it good.
How much involvement do brands have when making collab flavors with you? Who's been the most involved and who's been the least involved?
It's a cool question.
Yeah, it is a cool question. I think, so look, the big brands are always going to be super involved and have tons of people, tons of layers, like think Oreo, right? Massive team involved in taste testing and going through some of those iterations. But I think regardless of brand size, who's really impressed me as being the most involved with like such a strong viewpoint on their flavors has actually been Sonic. Cool. And I wonder if the reason for that is because Sonic has had to replicate their flavor system across thousands of franchisees, right? I believe it's franchise. Those restaurants, like they're used to kind of having some of those conversations about executing and different. But yeah, they've been very specific about, like when we were going through the cherry limeade process of, this is the type of cherry extract you need. This is the ratio to the lime. It's this type of, right? And same thing with the ocean water. So they're very particular, very specific, and they know exactly what they're looking for out of their flavors. And honestly, those are the best days at the office for us, because there's nothing harder than trying to hit a moving target, and someone who knows their brand inside and out. It's really fun to work with.
I love it.
They're also both, it's also a beverage, right?
Yeah.
So bringing that one to life, maybe you need to be incredibly specific because you're essentially trying to replicate that drink, right?
Right, absolutely. A lot of the times with your collabs, you're taking like Bubblicious, which is a bubble gum, and making it a drink, which there are aspects that you guys have done it very authentically, but it is inherently a different thing, right? What is one flavor you haven't been able to license yet that you really want to make? I'm giving you our entire reach of PricePlow to hopefully get to that.
Yeah.
Really helping you.
Unless you want to answer, I'll say this.
No, whoever your bucket list is, say it. I got mine or no minus.
Well, it really depends on, for me, like it kind of depends on which product we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
But I think maybe like a Captain Crunch was a cool brand, I think, for me, that we had, potentially talked about doing and stuff. But I also think probably at this stage of Ghost, the most important ones are probably the international ones, which is my guess where Dan's going to go with this.
If Captain Crunch called us today, I don't know if we'd do it.
Yeah.
Because I was going to ask, because you guys did cereal.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have our own portfolio now. It's just different.
So adding to that portfolio doesn't interest you?
Well, Captain Crunch is core cereal milk, right?
Yeah,
It's corn cereal inspired, so that'd be a tough one.
Yeah.
I don't know, right? I think like licensing at its best, right, drives that trial, drives that initial engagement, that interest. But if you're a loyal, like if you're stopping by like an end cap, at Kroger for the first time. Oh, Ghost Energy. What is? Oh, Sour Patch Kids, great. And you buy that, and you come back the next time, and you want to test drive orange cream. Like that's a win, right? Or if you're hooked on Sour Patch, keep going, cool. But like I think like exploring building the whole brand is important, which is why we're so particular about the collabs that we have. But yeah, Ryan's right. For me, I think the number one would actually be Cadbury Dairy Milk or Milka. Cadbury Dairy Milk is it's like the Bible in like English speaking foreign countries, kind of your UK, Australia, right? New Zealand, it's huge, and then Milka is basically the sister brand of that in continental Europe. But those would both be, I think, really awesome. So
cool. New flavors of greens. When can we expect anytime soon? Can you give us any information?
We actually
on your videos.
Yeah, we just stamped 2 of them, I believe, pretty close. I think we confirmed one, and I think we made one small tweak to the second one, but we got 2 more coming.
Yep.
So I'll send everyone to your YouTube videos that I obviously haven't watched.
I watched
them. Sorry.
I think that episode just came out.
Yeah.
I actually haven't seen this one yet.
Sick.
All right. Pizza. We're in Chicago. So deep dish is here. You say that no one here eats deep dish.
And no Chicago like resident eats deep dish.
You guys have been from New York as well. You're well traveled. So deep dish, New York, Brooklyn, or Detroit. What's your favorite pizza?
Classic New York pizza for me.
Classic New York with like Connecticut, New Haven pizza being a close second. I don't know how Detroit made it on that list before New Haven.
Yeah. There's also a sweet New York, like upstate New York. That's really popular too. So I actually had this question a few times in here. Collagen. You already have Glow. You got some stuff in there. Collagen. You guys don't normally do a lot of like commodities, but we've talked about fish oil as well. Are you interested in doing a collagen yourself?
We have to follow the brand advice I just gave, right? Like if we're gonna do it, why are we gonna do it? What are we adding to the marketplace by launching a collagen? And when we can answer that question, dude, we're gonna launch collagen. Like I take collagen every day, but I use the Vital blue bottle because it's
kick-ass brand.
Yeah, it's a good brand. It's like there's nothing. It's a great product.
Can I spitball an idea with you?
Sure.
Pork rinds collab with collagen.
A what?
Pork rinds.
Pork rinds collab.
I'm just messing around.
Yeah. I'm here for it, man.
I love pork rinds until I remember what they are. And I'm sorry, but that collab sounds disgusting. Because I never remember what they are when you bring it up. Shout out to Jeff Bob. Biggest collabs that Ghost has had overcoming with COVID and the supply chain.
Biggest collabs?
Biggest obstacles. Did I misspeak on that?
You said collabs.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking collabs. Biggest obstacles Ghost has had to overcome with COVID and the supply chain.
Well,
still overcoming.
Yeah, still working on it there. I think that very humbly and gratefully, right, our business continued to grow during COVID. So you had an increase in demand while supply and production kind of decreased.
Yeah.
And that kind of game of chicken there was definitely challenging to overcome. Right. You also had a little bit of slingshot demand where, stores kind of were shut and they didn't know when they'd be able to reopen. Then all of a sudden they reopened wanting to sprint. I think the whole industry did that a little bit. A lot of industries did. And I think that's actually the biggest cause of the supply chain problems we're having today across the board, not just in our industry, is like demand went to 0 and demand went to 110. And anytime demand shifts that, like it takes time to wind the factories out. It takes time to spool them back up. It takes time to get people home from work. It takes time to bring them back to work.
Yeah.
So I think like that lag has really been tough to navigate across the board. I would have to say that the single biggest thing for us, which we've lost, and again, to talk globally for a second, global flexibility in general, but definitely globally has gone out the window. If we were in a pinch to make a timeline or want to get something overseas for a simultaneous launch, we just airship it, right? We'd eat it, right? We'd eat it for the first like pallet of product that went over, right? Just to make a launch day or whatever it was. But you can't do that now. I mean, the cost of air shipping are 5x, 6x. It's just now it's just stupid. So again, the way to overcome, the way to survive anything in the past couple of years, everything takes a little bit more time. It takes a little bit more money. It's a little more hands-on. It takes a little more resources. It takes a little bit of patience, right? And we're doing it.
Wow. Any plans to expand the Sour Patch Kids pineapple to other products? The tropical Sour Patch.
I like that.
Think you're gonna try one today?
Yep.
Let's go.
Yes.
One, maybe two.
This guy just asked, just ran out of Legend. Can I expect a new version soon? I think he's asking about a certain hardcore version. Do we have like a quarter in mind that we could give this guy?
I think, we've been playing with some things and whatever, but I think September, October is probably around the time that we're going to roll it out in limited flavors.
Cool.
I think what you're going to see from us is only a single flavor launch or 2 flavors maybe, and that's going to be it, for now.
So get your cases.
Yeah.
Squash Kiwi wants to ask what the next new energy flavor is. That's a bit of a brunt question.
Well, we're gonna bring back Bubblicious Strawberry Splash from last year.
Boom. And is that going all over?
Yeah, it's going bigger.
Yeah.
Cool. Amazing. It was kind of funny because Bubblicious in the past, we've talked a lot about like bubblegum flavors. I really wasn't always a fan of it because I feel like you're not supposed to swallow bubblegum. But way more people enjoyed it than I thought they would.
Yeah, I think, look, again, that's the Ghost way of doing things, right? We're actually pretty conservative if you look closely, right? We wanted to roll it out only in specialty, right? Only in GNC and shop. It was basically like they split a run of product. Neither one got even everything they ordered, frankly, because look, we launched that during a time to throw our specialty partners a bone, during a time that we were just chasing inventory everywhere. So it wasn't really a good look. Like if I can't fill purchase orders for like Circle K or somebody, but yet I'm launching a new flavor that's not even available to them, we got to be careful with that. So we did it very limited just to kind of say, hey, the GNC Vitamin Shop, you've been day one supporters, energy's gone wider, but we want to do something cool for you. But look, that's a small test. Feedback was off the charts. We're bringing it back this year. It's been good. Going into several national retailers and some grocers and C-stores as well. So
Follow-up question. That's for Bubblicious Original?
Strawberry
Splash.
Oh, it is
Splash,
Strawberry
yeah.
Splash. I was going
The
to say,
original,
that
yeah.
flavor in powder I think is spectacular.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
yeah.
You think we'll ever see Lightning Lemonade in an RTD?
Who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
Who knows? Okay.
We are going to do a different powder Bubblicious this year in keeping with what we did last year.
Cool.
So last year we brought back Strawberry Splash, as you said, and it's got like it's like the McRib of Ghost. And this year, instead of doing Lightning Lemonade, we've got a different Bubblicious flavor that we're going to explore.
All right, I got one last question. I'm saving this. I think this one will be one you guys might want to talk about a little bit. How important is it that the people that are seen as the faces or represent the brands represent the values and ideals behind Ghost? And how has that been a process for you guys?
I don't know how it would ever not be the case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't really, you know what I mean? Like,
That leads me to the second part of the question. Like, how has that been implemented for you guys? Because you have a lot of people that you use a lot of different models and athletes. It seems like there's always different faces on your Instagram.
I'll say this. I think like it's important that someone shares the overall vision, the overall like affinity for the category or the product before even joining the company in any capacity.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like we don't want everyone here to think the same or see the world the same about stuff. Like that's no fun,
Yeah.
right? We value different viewpoints and bringing that into everything that we do, challenging each other to get better or think about something differently, more broadly, whatever. But like from like a overarching just like belief system, vision of the products, the brand, the perspective, like they won't even be involved in the company if those things aren't aligned. Like the first thing, like for example, a new influencer or partnership event, like just do they like the product, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have they tried it? Whatever, that's always where we start is again
Cool.
that real affinity, and then it goes from there. So
Nice. Awesome. Well, that's been the long Q&A. If you missed out on this, you missed out on an opportunity to ask Dan and Ryan questions. So
I'm
next
tacking
time-
this to the end of the audio feed if you don't mind. I think
Yeah,
that's
go for it. Awesome. All right, well, we've got some tasting to do, and I think we got to grab Wilkie. So thanks for watching.